So last time we hung out, I came to your office and we started talking about the mental health things we were going through and some of the things that we were working with to try to help our own stuff.
Right.
We're both very high functioning individuals. We're very driven, and we love our country. We love humanity, and we want to serve. But we've realized that we need to serve ourselves first. So tell us a little bit about when you believe was the first time you realized, man, I can't keep doing what I'm doing anymore. I really need to go figure something out.
When I started noticing my behavior changes, and as a E7, I couldn't understand what was happening because I saw it happen, but it didn't hit me yet. And I fought it for so long in the military till one of my sergeant majors pulled me to the side and said, "Hey, you need help." And I'm good. No, I'm talking about mentally. Like you saw so much as a kid. Three tours of Iraq, one tour of Afghanistan. You need to go get help. And once he said that, it felt like it opened up a whole new realm of, oh wow, I really got some mental issues going on because I love going back to this deserted place because I felt the need to take what I lost my first tours in '04 and '05 and thrive it for me to keep going and get my kid back, you know. But the same people we were hunting is probably already dead and gone already. But me just going back over there gave me the adrenaline rush I needed, like an IV to keep me functioning. Like I was like a functioning alcoholic.
Yep.
Like I wasn't drinking, but I'm talking combat. Like I loved it. I love being away. I love staying away. I love going out, even though it still gave me butterflies. Every time I hit the sand, I would throw up. Every time I got off the chopper. But after that, it was like game on. I was not the same JayR, same McIntyre. I was a different animal. I just didn't give it to my friends. I didn't give a fuck. Like I was there. Let's do it. And that was that. Because once I got out, it stayed with me. So if I couldn't get back over there, I would create destruction here, you know. And then for me being a strong individual, coming from a strong background, my father, you gotta go get help, you know. So they put me in the hospital 9 days, then 14 days, and then 30 days. And from then on, I fought it the first couple of times, and after that, I was like, this is the therapy I need because it's not as men, it's not afraid. I'm not afraid to say I need help.
What I love about your story is that it's you as if for everyone at home, if you don't know who JR is, what you see is what you get. And that's what I love about him. And that's why we relate. And what I loved about his company, Rat Pack Worldwide Security, is that he's found a bunch of people like him who are truly about loving one another and serving one another and being there for one another. And you were able to create what a lot of us lost after the military. But moving forward, what I also feel about your company and you as a leader is it's very inspirited. There's a lot of spirit in what it is you do, not just with each other, but I know for how you deliver your service to your clients. So when did spirit and when did a higher consciousness way of being really start to come into your forefront? Because like you said, when you would hit the sand, you become a different JR, you become a different Sergeant McIntyre, and you would just game face. I remember those days too. I miss those days of just being able to game face it, and then all of your thoughts, emotions, and feelings go away, and you're just in the moment. And it's like the only way you could do that was in an adrenaline, violent, intense situation. But it's like trying to recreate that presence for yourself out there. How have you been able? How are you able to re-embrace spirit and to re-embrace goodness and to re-embrace believing that you could get the help that you needed and that it would actually work for you?
Well, when I saw that the security industry had a need for the dying vets mentally, for them to find a challenge to thrive again, not necessarily in combat, but being a protector. Understanding you can do the same type of job, do it here, you love it, and it's not that hostile, but if it came down to it, you do your job. So once I got feeded, I fed that beast something different. And now I'm able to, I'm not doing that. I'll probably be locked away again. Not in jail, but probably like in my own mind, in my head, or mentally. or just I isolate. When I'm not with Red Tech, I go back into my shell. When I'm doing Red Tech stuff or protecting the client, I'm that Sergeant McIntyre that the world needs. You know what I'm saying? We're the kids that I think they forgot about 9/11. When we saw the towers crash, a lot of us that saw that and joined after that, or while they, that's us. We're the 40-year-olds that did that. And what keeps me going is every day I feel like is the guys I see on my wrist. You know, my bracelets I wear, the 27 guys I know that lost their lives and cannot do anything again. So I do it for them. I I use them as logs to my fire to keep it going. JayR, you put it down, you drop the ball. The veterans' families, you know what I'm saying? The kids are now 15, 16, 17 years old. And I still stay in contact with them. And I got to explain what I knew about their dad and they didn't know, or their mom. So I keep it going. So I'm like a vampire. I thirst for to protect their nation, but to also put veterans that was in my position that needed help, give them a line.
Over the last year, everything's changed, and there's never been more of a time needed for security and what it is you do and how it is you do it. What I loved about our first interview was I loved learning about your philosophy on providing security, because I've had a plenty of run-ins with bouncers and with security details before, and they actually take away from an event. They take away from a mood or a situation if they're not led the right way. But you are so different in the way that you and the people underneath you conduct themselves. You're all very kind, very compassionate. You engage. You're there to help out, no matter what the event is, with wherever you can help. So what I feel like is you're bringing like the military, a military esque to modern entrepreneurship, but at the same time, you're also softening it up in an aggressive industry. And you said to me that that was very important for you, was to change the way people thought about bouncers and security details and things like that, to where people look forward to having Rat Pack security there, because not only are you there protecting them, but you're actually there providing value, because you're actually engaging with the clients, you're engaging with the people at the events, and you're making it at a better event. So where did that concept come from? Where did you see the need, especially in a crumbling, decaying society that we're in? Where did you see a need to have that sternness, but also that love and that light and that compassion when you're doing your job?
Well, my motto has always been change the culture of security. Um, Security was always viewed to be the lowest, pay the lowest, do the most. And a lot of us in this industry now, we're educated fathers. We did multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, 15, 20 years in the military. We're not no Joe Small off the ground. We're not no jocks or someone just looking to beat people up. Really, we're customer service at the highest level. Now, if it comes to hands on, we're professional with a lot of martial arts. And if it comes tactical, we're professional in our license to carry, but it never will have to come down to that if you use a good customer service. When we was deployed, that's what they taught us. When we was over there, we didn't going over there to enrage and start fights, because then that's going to create more turmoil. How can we help you? But at the end of the day, we got to protect ourselves at all times. But our biggest thing is just making that client happy, making the agents happy, and the people, give them a good experience. Hey, sir, how can I help you? You know what? You had a few drinks. Let me walk you to your car. We don't want to beat up on you. And the people that are doing that, they probably lost a lot of fights growing up, or they're not who they say they are. You know, why you take advantage of 90% of the people that's in these industries, that's clubbing or events or drunk? Why are you taking advantage of these people? You know,
You've had to handle yourself in your life. You've had to do things that you're not proud of course. We all are. And yet you still talk with this grace. You still speak from a man who has been there, who's done that, who's gone through the ringer, but who has also healed enough to understand and understand what's right, what's wrong, what's right and wrong for him. So give us a little bit of how you were able to almost guide yourself, or when did you really start listening to that voice more to that voice, or was that always the case? You just always listen to the light voice over the ego voice, in your life. And so I'm just curious as to how you were able to survive it all, because you told me, you've been in a couple of these programs. I've been in a program, and there's been times where I really didn't think I was going to make it. And for some reason, it's just something inside of me. It just didn't quit. It just said, keep going this way. It's going to work out. And it's starting to. So where did that come from for you? How did you keep going through all this?
Just experiences and I guess really going into these therapy programs, the inpatient and outpatient program, and understanding the modalities I can use for myself and the breathing techniques, exposure techniques, the just talking and praying and meditating and just really being in the now and understanding who you are as a man. And not knowing that you don't want to go back. You don't want to be. You don't. I really don't want to go back to that JayR, but it's still there, and I still struggle with it. And it's my protective side of me that I really want to help people out, be there for them, not be the taken. I don't want to be taken out of that shell. I want to be able. I'm a protector, but I want to help people too.
I love that, because you were talking about you meditate now. So to me, I mean, I think that's what actually, honestly, I mean, there's a bunch of things I've done. I changed my whole life. But for me, the meditation is what helped with the PTSD. And for me, the PTSD was my 0 100. It's funny now, because as I've healed, I still get triggered, right? Like I still want to punch people in the face. But now it's not so much like where I'll just do it. Now it's more so, why do I want to do that? Is it necessary to do that? Is that the right reaction? And through my meditation and through the programs I've gone through and through all the other therapy and stuff I've done, the self-regulation has been key for me, because my triggers I would turn them in on myself. And before I started understanding that I had PTSD and I was getting triggered, I'd go on like a 2 or 3 day bender where I would just drink myself stupid. And then out of nowhere, I would just be jacked up for a week or two. And I'm like, what the hell happened? And I wouldn't even know what went down. I wouldn't even realize I was triggered and why I was triggered. And so it took a good 2 years of being triggered over and over again. And then like getting triggered and falling down and having to work through them, meditating and breathing and things like that. So what, in your opinion, what has been one of the most integral tools you've gained in regulating yourself and helping you get to this point where you can hear that other voice and go, he's still there, but he'll come out when he needs to.
I like Bruce Banner. Really, it has been self-preservation and my dogs. When I got out of the hospital, I became a dog. His name is Mega. He has a lot to do with my therapy, that who I am right now, doing 5 years, 6 years. And that little dog right there, don't know, he saved my life with a lot of things. Me rushing to get home to him because I'm scared I might hurt this person. And this dog don't have no ill will. He just wants to love you. He wants to be with you. It's my shit to his Mega. And that right there has been my saving grace. And my kids. But my kids are with their mom. So when they're with the moms, and my daughter, she's on my hip, goes everywhere with me, flies everywhere. Love is really, really, really good.
That's awesome, man. Because what I've picked up for myself is that I have a hard time allowing things to love me, and I can love, but as soon as something tries to start loving me, then it starts triggering all these things, and I don't like it. And so I've never even allowed myself to have an animal. I haven't really. I mean, I just recently started putting things on walls. I mean, I think I lived on bare walls for 10 years because I'm just going to move. I'm just going to move
Yeah.
again. I'm just going to move again. And so for me, it was learning how to love again and learning how to be loved these last 7 years since I was getting out, and not feeling weird about it. And every time I'm around you and your team, you're your family. You're a legit family. And so how have you been able to recreate that familial bond from the military in a modern day business that is with other veterans, where you see a lot of businesses and a lot of veteran owned businesses that are very ego driven? You're very spiritually driven. So how have you been able to create this and in reality manifest it? You really manifested this beautiful organization that represents you as a being, like you were talking about. It represents your beingness. So how have you been able to do that?
If you see where I'm at now, the members from back then to now have all changed. So it's the same culture. Some thought it, since they did it. Um, we always want love. And I always said, I don't want to come to work if I don't want to. Now, we love coming to work because look, we fight, we argue, we yell, but we love each other. We will take care of each other. And we're going to hold each other down. We know we've been through these struggles and we ain't going through it all. And leading by example, at the lowest means, sweeping the hallway, I'm sweeping. If he's out there in the cold night, I'm standing right next to him. So they know already that that's the culture that we put into that. It's not me or equal driven. It's family. And at the end of the day, we always got is that we keep it that military. When we're downrange, we always
How have you been able to create a culture that allows people to have disagreements, to argue, to yell at one another, and then still be able to bring it back and not have it be destroyed? Because I've noticed, especially in these younger generations, my generation, is we're all ego and we're all traumatized egos. And as soon as anyone, I made a video the other day. Part of it was called "The End of Fake Professionalism," and the fact that our entire world has been run by this idea of professionalism. That's bullshit, because you can literally talk shit to somebody behind their back, but as long as you're kind to them in front of their face, it's all right. But as soon as somebody comes out of the military and like call somebody out on their shit, then that person's the bad guy. That person's the enemy. That stuff doesn't make any sense. And I believe that part of the decay in our society is our inability to argue with one another. It's our inability to disagree. So how have you been able to insulate yourself from this cancel snowflake culture that is literally destroying the fabric of our country? How have you been able to maintain that normal human discourse that is so necessary for growth and evolution?
goes off when the world started to crumble with COVID and all these protests. We stay strong who we were. We fought for freedom of speech. We're unbiased. We don't care what's going on. We got people from all sides, all types of cultures. We're minority owned, I'm African American, but it doesn't matter. I put on that green suit and we all see we all did the same thing. So we just said, hey, if we're gonna put it in the outer port on, we're gonna sell everybody else off, we need to continue to work. And that's it. And then and then, like you said, you look up, some people branched off, we left, people who stayed, they believed, they understood, and they got strong.
So all right. So you talked about C19. I kind of use camouflage words because I'm already shadow banned on YouTube. And so I'll probably I'm trying not to get kicked off. I already got kicked off Instagram. So I'm gonna make my rounds for all these major platforms, right? But C19 almost seems like a bittersweet blessing for Rat Pack and what you all do, especially last year with all the craziness going on. I remember looking at my propaganda and seeing you protecting the one conservative woman that goes around and asks really hard questions to people that don't know anything, and you all got chased through USF's campus, I believe, right? You were basically chased by an angry mob.
Remember just a few weeks ago when liberal lefties tried to run me off campus because I'm just so hateful and no one shares my opinions? Go home, Caitlin! Go home, Caitlin! Go home, Caitlin! Secure that building. Secure that building. Oh, I'm back.
Yeah, UCF and USF. So that was a crazy experience, and that let people know that we were really about what we do, and no matter how we look, we know how to do our job. And look who he was doing it for. It didn't matter. She needed protection. We cared for her. At the end of the day, we are who we are. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? And we want to be able to say we fought for our country. We should be able to do. We did it on both platforms, both sides, both sides. We helped protest on this side, on that side. At the end of the day, hey, we just ain't going to be able to do violence like that.
As 2021 rolls forward, is it looking good? Is it looking good for Rat Pack because of everything that's going on with the world right now?
Yeah, we didn't choose how it was going to go. I guess security is a booming business right now, but the right type of security, and we were able to come in on that level, and it's a blessing to see it.
And you talk about being a teacher and that you love teaching people. And I know that you have a university that goes alongside your actual security business, which is brilliant because you've already created a secondary revenue stream with it. Three, all right, perfect. So talk to us a little bit about creating your own university, because my big thing is a relatability, right? At the end of the day, all this stuff is frameworks that people can take and then apply it to their industry, apply it to their field. Something big that I want to create is I want to create my own online course platform to talk about spiritual growth and human development. And so this is very important for someone like me who is getting into online courses, who wants to get into educating people and doing it in a different way. So talk to us a little bit about the Rat Pack University and what kind of classes you offer and what your whole idea and concept for it was and how is it going?
Well, we learned that real entrepreneurs have more than one stream of revenue coming out of their branch. So we not only created a university, we created Rat Pack store, Rat Pack in the box. So any agent that graduates from our courses can get the proper uniforms and everything you need in our store in one house. If you hire, you can get that too. Now, as part of the university, we wanted to provide and teach it. So we was able to solicit our services to other security companies and hey, if you need this type of license, you don't have to go there. You can go here and we're cheaper than them because we can afford it. Because at the end of the day, it's passion over profit. We're not trying to get rich off you. We're trying to push it forward.
So passion over profit. Let's go a little bit further with that. So these are the principles that I'm very interested in. My guides, my higher self, whatever you want to call it, has come to me and told me that I'm not dreaming big enough, which is pretty crazy for me because I'm a huge dreamer. But over the last year, as I've been really healing, I've been taking it slow and I've not been allowing myself to really go outside the present moment because I really just wanted to get good here. But I'm big on that idea as passion over profit, people, planet, profit, which is a triple bottom line, corporate sustainability, social responsibility. I believe this is the future of business. I believe this is the future of entrepreneurship. And you've already started to establish that this is the new earth business, let's say, right? The new age business. Right. So where did you come up with that idea about passion over profit? And when did you know that it was going to be right for your business to implement and really scale from?
Well, as soon as I started Rat Pack, I knew that that's what we wanted to do. We saw the need in the security industry to provide things before profit. And at the end of the day, showing that clients or the agents that, hey, we'll go to bat for you no matter what. You cannot pay this agent $10 to protect $1 million establishment. You got to pay him or her with their work because what people don't know is I'm a full-time student. I graduated in May from Kaiser University Sports Medicine. I'm also a father. I'm also served 15 years in the military. I'm also a disabled veteran. I'm also CEO. So I got a lot going on. So I want to be able to show people that's got all these excuses why they cannot make moves, what we can do and how we can do it. And the reason why is because everybody's just a number coming into a regular industry. When I left the military, another E7 replaced me. We want to bring that into Rat Pack there. Hey, you know what? You're appreciated. You're not a number. You're a name. Hey, we got you. We can put you forward, move you forward, and we can invest in you and bring you back to what we're doing. And that's when the passion is. And if whoever don't know me, they can see or when I talk that I'm very passionate about what I am, what I do, and how I do it, and what I'm able to perform, especially right now. And when we had that interview, people laughed at me. Oh, you ain't gonna start at school. Your company ain't gonna be 5, 10 years, 10, 15 years. And I had a chip on my shoulder. And now we're here. And it's nothing but God and the universe that's just saying, hey, JayR, you spoke it, and now it is here. You didn't ask how it was going to be here, but now it's here. So, at the end of the day, that's what we want to do.
When you meditate, do you get downloads? Do you like get images and ideas and do you have any conversations with God or with, that's why I don't know, man, I'm crazy now, dude. Like I have different voices and yeah. So let's go a little bit into that because I wasn't sure and I didn't want to, whatever. So I'm all about this. I call it hippie foo-foo because I'm a Marine first and foremost, always. And so I always still make fun of myself for loving this stuff, but I freaking absolutely love it, man. Like I study paleoanthropology now. I'm learning about the giants, the Nephilim and stuff. Like I just love this stuff. I mean, I can't get enough. Did you have any spiritual experiences growing up? Did you have a connection with God your whole life? Or did it kind of come as a means of survival or as a means of transformation for you?
No, my dad instilled that to me when I was little. My dad, he got saved when I was like 10 or 11. But the dad I knew before, it was different than the dad I know after that. And I'm glad he chose that because he showed me both sides and I was able to choose what I wanted to do. Now, being all activated in it, he also showed me you have to be pretending to do that. You can still be a warrior. God has his warriors, and at the end of the day, you want to be able to be the righteous person for you. You don't want to live like them or them. He said, as long as you appreciate God and love him, and God is going to acknowledge you, and you live right by him. Don't live by their expectations. Other people will say, oh, you're a preacher kid, and you shouldn't be doing that, and you shouldn't, you know what? I think I'm more holier than you because you don't even talk to God. God don't even listen to me. I know he listens to me. I might make mistakes and slap my hand, but I know he listens because I'm honest with him.
So has your relationship evolved or just gotten stronger in that kind of vibration over your time? And since you've really had this spiritual awakening since getting out to save yourself and to really bring more love into your life and to create the success, to help the people, to serve humanity, because and that's really what it is. I realized I wanted to continue to serve, but until I got my health underneath me in every capacity of health, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, that I couldn't serve other people anymore. And I barely, and because I wasn't serving myself. And so how has your relationship, or say, how has your vibe with God, universe, creator, energy, whatever you want to call it, how has it changed over your course of your life, but specifically say these last 3 years since having this very divine opportunity with Rat Pack? It seems like God's gift. It was a gift from God.
No, it's always remained the same. I got a little stronger, but I just became more vocal because to see someone from Long Beach, Compton, that used to gangbang and do a lot of crazy stuff, and then went into the military and did some crazy things. How can you keep mentioning God? How can you not? Like, this is the reason why I'm here. But you did some bad stuff. I did it in the name of Jesus, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know, you don't even understand. Like, there's some things that you can't even fathom that went through my head when I was out there in combat. But when I prayed for him, he was there. I don't know why certain things happen. And I didn't pray for it to stop. I just prayed for understanding. Maybe if it was my turn to go, make me understand why.
That's beautiful. I mean, I now understand what being reborn is, and it's not being dipped in a lake, dude. You know what I mean? Like it's much bigger than any sort of ritual that you see on television or on Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like I literally have been reborn again. I have literally shed this entire being and have been regrown myself, every attribute, every facet of myself, to finally be the man I designed myself to be, and also the man that God designed me to be. And it took that surrender and that belief. People look at soldiers and Marines and we're heroes and we're tough, we're this and that, but yet look at our community and look how we're suffering and look how we're struggling and look how it's like we go from being so capable to so incapable so quickly. What do you think in your experience? What do you think determines whether a veteran will choose to go through the desert of their human trauma to heal and grow, or to take a permanent solution to a temporary problem? Where do you think that decision's made?
That's between the veteran. I could talk to them blue in the face to try to get these guys to turn the corner back, but they have to have that self-reckoning. They have to have that right moment that, hey, you see your friend over there just committed suicide, or your friend that's living under the bridge, or your friend, do you want to be like that? Because you easily can think of a hat. you can be there. Do you want to continue to get help? And this is how I talk to myself. Yeah, what the fuck up? Like, what are you doing? Like, that's not, hey, you in bed still? It's noon? Get up. What are you doing? That's not, people are depending on you. And when I found out that not only is my family watching, the kids, is people unawarely, like just they looking for my posts on LinkedIn, or and I did not know that. They was every morning they wanted to hear what I had to say. And when I started posting prayers and all, it was like I did not know. I said, yeah, it don't look like it, but I'm very religious, I'm very spiritual, I'm very tuned in, I meditate, I got incense, I open up my doors, I hit the ground with no shoes and socks on. This is me.
I got my mala beads.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I really tap into that because at the end of the day, like you have to be able to figure out who you are. Don't pretend to be somebody else. Who are you? Why are you here? What is your purpose? What is God plan for your life? And when I figured that out, I was able to put that back into Rat Pack and inspire everybody else to keep going.
Again, something about you that I really am attracted to in terms of energy is your ability to be you. Every time I talk to you, you're the same human. You come up and come down the same human every day. You go to sleep and wake up, and not a lot of us can do that. You know what I mean? I took the uniform, I took the Marine Corps uniform off, and I put on a business suit, and that was my identity until I had to then crumble that identity and actually just finally discover who I am, like you were just talking about.
Right.
And it took me embracing all this hippie foo-foo weird stuff to really figure that out. How were you able to quiet the ego voice and not care about what the other people in your life would think of you, to do the things you needed to do for yourself to heal, to not care what people thought of if they see you putting on lavender oil, or to see you, or see you doing a ritual with feathers, or reading the Bible, or like, I feel that we in the military, we get into this almost echo chamber groupthink where we're scared to be ourselves completely. How were you able to break that mold outside so that you can thrive?
Just how my dad raised me. Just he said, Daryl, wherever you get to where you're going, always remain. You come from Long Beach. Let the people know that. Let them know that you was born and bred here, and this is your demeanor. Now take that with a approach and mix that up, and when you become a man, you present that. Now, if I catch you on TV or in denying where you come from, I'm going to have a problem. So I never want to be that person to be like, oh, yeah, I do. No, this is me. I do this. I was in the Army, but I was this. I never changed. I never drank no beer. I never did no Tabasco. I never smoked cigarettes. I was always me. Always remain. I always wanted to hone in on what I had because I was always the littlest person. So I wanted to always be the smartest and the strongest. But always, I knew my height advantage or disadvantage, but I always wanted to perform way better than the guys that was gifted. So I feel like that in this field. It takes a lot more than talent to get to where you're at. It's passion. There's a lot of talented people sitting in jail or dead or just playing on rosters and they're not even starting. So much talent.
That's so true, man. And what I noticed about you too is I don't think you have a lot of distractions in your life in terms of coping mechanisms. To me, if you were to distract or cope, you go into whatever it is that you're doing. You know what I mean? Like you said, you didn't drink, you didn't smoke, you didn't do any of those things, but you were about combat. You know what I mean? Like you were about that adrenaline. And so were you always a person that kind of didn't have all those distractions? Do you follow current events? Do you like a lot, or do you kind of just like keep an understanding so that you can work? I call it a working knowledge of what's happening in the world.
Well,
go ahead.
What I follow and I listen and I really live my life carelessly. I don't really care what the next person is saying because if you really wasn't with me in the trenches, you have no opinion over what I'm doing. So I don't. If I hear somebody talking about Mercedes and they never drove it, I'm turning a blind eye over here. I'm not listening to you. You're a fool. Why are you talking about stuff you don't know? So when I hear the tabloids and everybody, he was out there. That's not what happened. Even with the protests, some people you wasn't there. You don't know what was happening, what was going on. So don't talk about that. So that's how I was raised, and that's how I am too. Like if I had anything to do with it, then I could talk about it on an intellectual level. If I didn't, shut up. And I learned.
I should probably take that advice. I talk about everything.
No, No, that's just me because I don't want to sound like a fool talking about something I don't know, and I hate doing research. Why do I have to Google?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love research. That's my thing.
Oh,
I'm all about.
no. But then it's like, oh, it's shenanigans, man. But go ahead, y'all debate, and I'm not choosing sides. I'm gonna watch you guys talk about it, and that's it. And I don't judge. Who's right, who's wrong? I don't care. It's not affecting my life. No Republicans or Democrats was in my neighborhood growing up. None of them. None of them. I didn't see none of them. I didn't see it. I didn't even talk about it when I was in high school. I just started finding about this stuff when I was in the military, and then how powerful it was. And I'm like, come on, man. House of Representatives, all that. Okay, that's cool, but all right. Hey, listen, y'all don't come down to where I'm at. Y'all don't divide that. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Well, we don't. We need y'all. We need more books down there, more school, more everything, curriculums. We didn't have it, so we had to create our own.
Well, hey, how about this? At least Gavin Newsom's getting recalled, so your state might be doing something right. Dude, I'm telling you, it's coming, man. Like, all right, so I gotta know. I gotta know. Do you believe in the Great Awakening? Do you believe that there's something energetically happening on the planet right now in which humans are waking up en masse to what's happening, and it's all in divine plan that's been written in the stars for centuries and millennia? Do you believe in that?
Children, yes, it's been happening. It's a few out of each area, section, generation that is going to be the light for that population, that spokesperson. I always felt since I was a little boy I was different. I felt like I was a leader, not because I had special powers, and because I wasn't like the rest of these kids. I didn't even want to be around because it was like, come on, like that's all you want to talk about is shooting and gun. Like, come on, do something else. And then when I left that, you still talking about that 10 years later? How about learning something else? How about putting yourself through another document to understand knowledge? Like, so I felt like not like I was different, but I was different from the other kids growing up. Even now, in the security industry, I'm not like the rest of the seniors, and I don't want to be like that. I want to be me, like on Friday we wear sweats, rap. Like this is us. And if I feel like if I lose that, then I lose right back.
Oh, dude, 100%. And what's crazy, what I'm seeing is because here's the other thing about you and I. The difference between you and I was my mental health kept me from being able to create the momentum necessary to really take something and take it to where you've been able to take it as quickly as you've taken it. But what I've seen, the difference between like Vetting America was and what you is, Rat Pack is JayR. This is you. Like, you are the culture, and then you bring people in that are relate to you and your culture that you're creating. I was a people pleaser up until the last year, so I was always trying to create things for everyone else, and without ever really putting myself in there. And another reason was because I didn't really know who that person was. So now that I'm this new being, right? So say all these people that have transformed over the last year, because 2020 was a freaking transformational year for so many people.
Yes.
How do you, moving forward now in either career, hobby, or business, right? You're this new being, you're this spiritual being. How do you now take this new person that I've become or that another person's become and help make that part of the business? Like, how do you put yourself into your business and not make it about you, but it's you? It's like, it's a paradox. It's beautiful. I really believe it's beautiful.
Create that light. I'm always constantly showing them that it's positive about the negatives. Trust me, every day I hear something that I need to fix, not within myself, but other agents or employees. And I show them, hey, listen, I was there. I was home. I'm home for 7 months. So I know how to feel. So you can't tell me anything about that. We could talk about it, but don't use it as an excuse. All my mental health, hey, I was fucked up too. I was in the hospital. If you saw me 5 years ago, you wouldn't even want to be next to me. So you don't use that. Use it as an excuse to push forward. If you fall back, that's because of your personality. Now it's okay to fall back, but look what you're doing right now. When I saw you from the time I met you to now, and then now, that's the transformation that everybody needs to hear and see from you. Is when you first got out, you was a hard charger. Then you hit a bump in the road. Most people would have stayed down and died if they did. And I have lost a lot of military veterans, and I wish I could have been there to help them through it. But you found your way out the gauntlet, and now you're creating a system for other people to follow you now. That's all I did. Hey, I created the path. You don't have to go reinvent. Well, follow me. Follow me. And if you need help, I'm right there with you. And I might walk through it with you again. Let's do it. You know how many people I put to school, sent to the VA hospital, stayed in my house? 21 people. Friends fuck me over because they're mentals, but at the end of the day, I'm still here. I'm not married for a reason because, like you said, I don't have enough love to give because I felt like I wasn't loved enough when my mother passed. But I tell you what, when the right person comes along, I'm there. But until then, I'm gonna love everybody in my company, my employees, and push them forward.
I love that, man. Thank you so much, JayR, for coming on. The Ascension Files, man. I would love to do it again. Honestly, I look up to you. You're a peer, you're a mentor, you're a friend, you're a brother. I know we're going to be doing lots of work together in the future. I'm feeling super strong. And I know that you're getting strong. And to be honest with you, man, you really are demonstrating to me and to a lot of people how real business can be done in this country and in this world moving forward. And so all I can say and all I can say to you is keep going this way. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing more to figure out either because you're going to have your good days. You're going to have your bad days, but we've had good days and bad days already. Now it's just keep doing what we're doing. And man, I'm really, really proud of you, dude. I'm really proud of the man you've become and how much you've healed and how much love you push into this world. You give me hope. There's not many humans that give me hope anymore, man. I'm sorry. You remember how wide-eyed and bushy-tailed I was? I'm trying to stay there, you know, but it's this last 3 years have really opened my eyes. But because there are men like you I've met, dude, you give me all the hope in the world that we're going in the right direction, man. So thank you so much for coming on. I'm really grateful, dude.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. And, let me know if anything's there that I can help. And, I struggle too, but conversations like this and therapy and talking to my father, being there for my kids, being a light to other veterans that need me is my life.
I love you, man. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
All right, talk to you soon. Bye.